Hey guys! So today I'm going to be doing a brow routine for you. This is how I shape and fill my brows. I kind of switch up how I fill my brows all the time. I do it differently basically every day. It just kind of depends on my mood. Rude. Someone just text me. Don't text me, I'm filming. Don't you know I'm filming? Don't text me. Anyway. There are a few things that you're going to need to shape your brows, and the first one is a kohl eyeliner pencil. This is just a black one from some e.l.f. kit. It's just cheap, whatever you have. You can use your regular eyeliner, but you're basically going to be wasting it, so I always just use whatever's cheap and lying around. You're going to need a straight edge, and I use just the straight edge of a long makeup brush that I have, so make sure you have a long brush that's going to reach from your nostril to your brow. That's important. Another thing you're going to need is good tweezers, y'all. Get yourself some good tweezers. Don't buy the cheap ones. You want to get tweezers that are going to work well and actually grab your hair, so go for the good ones, spend the extra couple dollars, and buy yourself some good tweezers. You also are going to need some scissors, some little eyebrow scissors. You can find these at the drugstore. They come in different shapes and stuff. These are just some little scissors, but you need to have some scissors. You're also going to need a spoolie, which is this. If you didn't know, this little end right here, that's a spoolie. This is just from a little brush that came in an eyebrow kit. You can use any spoolie you can find. They come in packs at the drugstore a lot of the time, or single packs even. And this one also has an end on it that I use when I fill in my brows. This is from a Sally Hansen kit, so there's that. And then you're going to need whatever you're going to fill your brows with. So today I use the NYX Micro Eyebrow Pencil in Taupe, I believe. And this is supposed to be a dupe for Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz. I don't know. I don't own the Brow Wiz. I never have owned the Brow Wiz, but it does work really well. It has a super tiny little tip. I don't even know if you can see that. A super tiny tip that is retractable, which is great. And it also comes with a spoolie on the end of that. So that's a good option. It's much cheaper than Anastasia, and I've heard a lot of good things about it, and I love it personally. I also use my Avon quad, and I use these two colors to fill in my brows a lot because they're cooler, taupe and brown shades, so I use that a lot of the time. I didn't use this in today's, but I do use this a lot when I just want my brows to have a little color when I'm on the go. I use this NYX Brow Mascara. It's in the shade Chocolate. It just has a very little tiny tip on it, spoolie on it. And I love to use that when I'm just on the run and I need to fill in my brows real quick. So I can use that in another video if you'd like. And then whatever you're going to use to set your brows. You can use this to set your brows. It adds just a little extra color if you need that. Or I use all the time my e.l.f. Clear Mascara and Brow Gel. It's like $1, $2, $3 at the drugstore, and it just keeps my hairs in place. So that is what you're going to need. Like I said, this video is not going to show you how to thin or thicken your brows. It's going to show you how I fill my brows, how I get those little, my brows have some patchiness, so it's going to fill that in, and just how to get the best brow for your face shape. So let's get to it. So here I'm just showing you how my brows look now. They have a pretty decent shape because if you remember a couple weeks ago, I already filmed a brow routine, and then half my footage got lost. So let's just get started. First, you're going to take your straight edge or your brush handle and line it up with the outer nostril, just straight up from that outer nostril, and that's going to be the starting point of your brow. You're going to do that on both sides, and I kind of just draw a line downward. Anchor at your nostril again through the outer corner or center of your pupil, and that is where your arch will be. So you do that on each side, either the center or outer rim of your pupil. The next anchor that you do is from your nostril to the outer corner of your eye, and that is going to be the outer stopping point of your brow, and this just gives you a good shape. So next I'm going to connect the dots. I just like to do this to not show how thick or thin my brows are going to be, but to kind of give me a general idea of where my arch is going to be, to remind myself while I'm plucking, and to just see a general shape before I go ahead and start to pluck. That way I know that they are even and looking good. Here you can see I'm just checking to make sure they're not overly different and that they're pretty even in shape. So I'm speeding this up because I'm just going in and plucking the big hairs that I see. It's a little difficult to see all of them with the black lines, but I'm just doing the best I can and plucking all those big hairs to get the general shape that I want. Don't forget to do the top of your brows, because you don't want to have nice trim brows underneath and then scraggly old brows on the top. So just beware and try not to over pluck. That is definitely a hazard while you're doing this, but just follow those general shapes, and it's better to leave a little hair than take away it all. Then I just take a makeup wipe and remove the black line so I can see the tiny little hairs, and I go back in and remove any hairs that I missed. I can see poking out now that those lines are gone. It's a little easier to see that once I take away those guidelines. Next, I'm going to trim my brows. So I take my spoolie and I brush my brow hair up, and you can see along the edge where the brow hair sticks over the line or the thickness that I want my brow. I go in and I trim away just at that line. Don't go underneath the brow line. That will give your brows good length and help even it out and show you where you might need to trim up or take away some more, and you can do the same thing down, but I ducked my head and you couldn't see it on film. So now I'm just going through after I trim my brows and shaping up and taking away any of those little tiny hairs that were in the way and kind of further defining my brows and giving them a little more shape and cleaning up. Now they look even, and so I'm going to fill them in. So I start filling in my brows with my brow pencil, and I kind of draw a line underneath my brow. Not very hard. I don't ever press hard with my pencil, but I just like to draw a line to kind of give my brow a little bit of extra shape and definition, and I do that on the top and the bottom. And then I go in with my brow pencil. You can't really see it because I duck my head, but I press and then lightly flick to kind of give the imitation of hairs, and you do that in the direction that your hairs go. So I just do that all over my brows. You can do this to add a little thickness if you need to, but I press and flick, as you can kind of see here, to give the illusion of more hairs and fill in any patchiness, which I tend to have a little bit of patchiness in my brows. An important thing to remember when you're filling your brows is that your brows are not going to be twins, they're sisters. So filling in your brows is the best way to make your brows more symmetrical. And don't be discouraged if when you shape your brows they're not perfectly even. Mine aren't perfectly even. It's really when you go in and fill your brows that you are able to even them out and make them look more symmetrical. So now I'm just taking a spoolie and blending out my color. You want to do this every time you do color on your brows and you use a pencil or even a powder, because it will help blend the colors out just like you would blend out your eyeshadow. You use a spoolie in the same way and it works exactly the same. You just want to make sure to do that to get a nice even color, and you can see where you maybe need to add more or take away a little bit even. So I didn't like how it was looking, and I felt like I needed to add a little bit of powder because I was having a little bit of patchiness and like something weird going on. So I'm just adding some powder through my brows. It adds a little bit more depth, and look at that, evening that sucker out right now. I put my powder on kind of the same way I do my pencil. I press hard at first and then flick, and that just kind of helps give a more eyebrow hair-like effect. I always make sure I keep checking and making sure that it's even, and right here you can see I'm using the spoolie as kind of an eraser and getting rid of some edges that I don't like. Look at that, look at that. Check that evenness, girl, you get it. Now I'm just going in with my clear brow gel and I'm putting that over my brows to set them. You could use that NYX brow gel like I said in the beginning, but I just like the clear one. And voila, there we go. There are my now shaped and colored in brows. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed that tutorial on how to shape and fill your brows. If you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them down below. As always, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at NinaNeedsMakeup, all one word. I think that's all for now. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye!